It's Christmas week in New York. The lights are up, the garden is buzzing. The Knicks, they're right in the middle of another season with expectations and a ton of questions. So this week on New York Got Game, it's a very Knicks-mas episode. What this team deserves credit for is what we're going to talk about, what still needs work, and what they need to carry into Christmas and beyond. So joining me this week on New York Got Game is Jeff Johnson of Knicks Film School. And if you're looking for box score reactions, he's not your guy. But if you want to understand what's actually happening on the floor, my guy Jeff, he's one of the best voices covering this team. Jeff is always going to keep it real. So in my opinion, he was the perfect person to help us break down what deserves praise with this Knicks team, what still needs work, and what really matters for the Knicks heading into Christmas. You see Jeff right there joining me now. Jeff, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you for having me on again, man. Love talking about this team. Love talking hoops. So I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to rock. Listen, I thought it'd be fun to talk to you about, try to, at least with the holiday season, put some things in perspective with the Knicks, right? So how we're going to do this is Jeff and I, we're going to have a conversation around things. We have some different segments here. We've got 5 different segments we're going to talk with. And the first one is going to be stocking stuffers, okay? So to explain it to people, stocking stuffers are going to be underrated contributions that Knicks fans might be overlooking. Could be with the team. In general, it could be with different players. So it's just underrated contributions overall that Knicks fans might be overlooking right now. Now, here's the thing, Jeff. Every great Knicks season has contributions that, doesn't always jump out off the box score. But when you look at this roster right now, either what or who feels like the biggest stocking stuffer that nobody's talking about enough right now?
I'll say it's Deuce McBride. And if you're talking about him, you're still not talking enough about him. The team has been 16-4 with Deuce in the lineup. He's averaging almost 12 points on 44% shooting with a little more than 6 3-point attempts. So that's heavy volume where he's hitting the majority of his threes. He's found it from beyond the arc. On top of that, when you look at the advanced metrics, right, his offensive rating with the team when he's on the floor would be about 4 points better than the best offense in the league and be touching NBA historical offensive teams. The defense would be middle of the pack. I'd say more so top 10, middle of the top 10, so like top 7. And that's where the Knicks ideally would want to be if they're going to compete for a championship. And I think the fact that the Knicks have shown that they have more depth than more people expected them to have, it may be cool to kind of put him on the back burner and look at him as a nice to have. But I think he's essential. Games like the game against the Heat, games like the games against the Sixers, when you're playing 3 games in 4 nights, you need somebody like that to put pressure on the point of attack, to be able to hit an open shot and to eat minutes and bring that stability. And he's somebody on one of the best contracts in the league right now, too. So like I said, man, no matter how much gratitude you have for Miles McBride being on your team, it's not enough. He's somebody who's integral to their championship dreams.
What? I have to agree in terms of him being the best stocking stuffer, if you want to say. And I love that you brought up the recent couple of games against the Heat. I know the Knicks won that game, but really the one against the Sixers. Now, look, that was kind of a schedule loss, in my opinion, when you look at that with the Knicks. But when you look at that game, you look at Maxey and Edgecombe, and a lot of people are going to struggle with their speed. Man, they could have used Deuce McBride that night. I was sitting there at the Garden, Jeff, and I was like, they missed Deuce tonight, and you saw how integral he was to the team. So here's my follow-up, though, Jeff. You talk about him being your stocking stuffer, and people are going to hear everything you just said. They are going to hear the advanced numbers and all the metrics and that stuff, and they're going to say, okay, we see that. Should Deuce be starting? Should he be in the starting lineup? Is he part of the best Knicks lineup? I know a lot of Knicks fans, and people, including myself, wanted to see him play more with the starters last year. Or do you look at it as he's so integral, it's not about who starts, he can be part of a lot of closing lineups? How do you look at Deuce and how Mike Brown should use him once he returns?
I think it all depends on how you deploy their wing lineup. They got Hart, Anunoby, and Bridges, right? Those are their 3 main wings. So if you come at it from the perspective that, hey, you got somebody who can play solid defense, can hit an open 3, is willing to take the threes, and you can have Hart come off the bench and relieve one of Bridges and Anunoby and keep that wing rotation healthy, then I'd say, all right. But then on the other end, I look at what Josh is doing with the starters now. And the main difference between last year and this year is a willingness to shoot and adjustments on offense that maximize what Josh can do. But more so, it is the willingness to shoot. Because before, when he wasn't willing to take those threes, when he wasn't really willing to stretch the defenses with the threat of his long-range shot, that's when they are able to put their centers on him or their big men and shrink the court, and it becomes mostly ineffective. The numbers right now are comparable between Deuce in the starting lineup versus Hart, which is a big testament to what Josh has done this season and how the rest of his OG starters have integrated him back and they've been able to coalesce as a unit. But I'd say right now, you keep it as is. You have Deuce coming off the bench. You also have somebody like Landry Shamet on his way back in another few weeks or so. So I think they'll have their depth locked up. And one thing that this head coach has been willing to do is he'll mix it up. He'll mix it up. You might have different starting lineups. You might have different situational, and different lineups are going to play. So I'm not worried about Deuce not getting in with the starters or being put in certain lineups. With that worry gone, I think I'm good with the starters where they at.
Yeah, I love what you said. With that worry gone, Knicks fans, you don't have to worry about that anymore. This coach is going to mix up things. No shade. We're not shading the old coach. It's just saying, you're going to see a little bit more. It is
what it is, man.
Yeah, and the facts are the facts, right? And we've seen the fruits of this labor in terms of mixing and matching different lineups for the Knicks. Okay, so I like that for you with Deuce as a stocking stuffer. I agree. I don't really feel like there's somebody else. I would put I'm sure some people will say Landry Shamet and what he did before he got hurt. That is fine.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm sure some people might say because of recent play, I don't think he's done enough. But Tyler Kolek could be a stocking stuffer. That is fine. Some people, I think he's a little bit gets too much credit. That's why I loved your point about him not getting enough credit in terms of Deuce. Some people may say Mitch as a stocking stuffer, but I like the pick of Deuce. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next segment here that we're gonna talk about in terms of this team and what we're looking at with the Knicks before Christmas. So coming up next, we talked about stocking stuffers, and on to the next one we have here. We're gonna talk about naughty or nice. So we're gonna play Santa for a little bit here. This is us looking at the team, making some evaluations thus far. So Jeff, let's play the role of Santa here. We're gonna decide who's been naughty, who's been nice based on what we've seen so far, who's earned praise, and also like what parts of this team are still on thin ice when you look at this team right now. So just tell me which one of these Knicks do you feel right now? Give me one who's been really nice, somebody has been naughty.
All right, if you're going to go to the nice list, let's start nice. I'll talk to you nice.
All right.
Start with the nice list. Fortunately, there's a lot of options. I'll say that first off. Fortunately, there's a lot of options. But, bro, I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson. Just recently dropped 47 points, his MSG career high, 8 dimes, 6 of 13 from the field. This dude his scoring average is escalating game by game. And a wise man once said, everybody's better than Brunson until it's time to be better than Brunson. I think he's unequivocally an MVP candidate. I love the fact that Mike Brown has been advocating for him. And I think you have to bring it to the forefront and to the national audience. You saw what he did against the Spurs in the NBA Cup final. Anytime he gets that national spotlight, he shows out. And he shows his immense value to the squad. Even just starting off games, he has the second highest first quarter point average in the league other than Luka Doncic. Nico Harrison, what are you doing right now, right? So them two are the top 2 first quarter scorers in the league. And how many times, Dex, have we seen the Knicks start off slow and we say some version of, well, if Brunson wasn't there to drop X amount of points, this would be a double-digit lead. That's a definition of value to me. That's a definition of most valuable. And I think if we're if we're putting names on the nice side, Brunson's got to be the top of that. But like I said, there's a lot of options.
No, you're right. Tons of options to choose from. And I like you putting Brunson because almost not just putting him at nice. He's at the top of the nice list, right? We can't even deny that at all. He's absolutely at the top of the nice list, and in some way, he might be nicer than some people thought, right? We know this. We know Brunson,
which is even crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? When a lot of people doubted Brunson, and now you're seeing. You talk about the 47 he just dropped on Miami that we just saw. We talked about the NBA Cup performance in the final against San Antonio and what he did through the whole run there. Yeah, he should at least to me right now be in top 5 in MVP. I'm not saying he's the MVP of the league. I like Mike Brown advocating for him. I still feel like he's disrespected. I still feel, Jeff, like people say, oh, well, you can't win anything with a guard of his size. Well, at some point, some small guard was going to come along and win the way Isaiah Thomas did. Why can't it be Brunson? I'm just saying.
I mean, hey. Yeah. He's the shortest, best player on the team to win an NBA Cup. There's a start there. That's a first in a futures of firsts.
This is true. Now, some people are going to say to you, and I'm not trying to get you in trouble, they're going to be like, that's just the NBA Cup, Mr. Johnson.
That's fine.
That doesn't matter.
I'll be early on it because 10 years from now, those people will look stupid. Because the NBA Cup ain't going nowhere unless you got the $5 to pay Amazon for sponsoring that whole tournament, and then they take it away. You don't got that money. I don't got that money. They don't got that money to waste. You're right. So, yeah, it's going to become basketball heritage, whether some curmudgeons like it or not. I agree. And it's going to have prestige. Be early on this one. Don't be late. Everything's a cash grab when it comes to sports. So if we're going to desecrate the NBA Cup, you better desecrate the idea of a playoff. Yeah, because there shouldn't be a playoff if you really think about it. The best team in the league plays every other team in the league. We really don't need to do this with a postseason.
With the reason for postseason.
If you want to go down that slippery slope, stick out your arms and enjoy the ride. Otherwise, bestow some prestige on that NBA Cup.
I agree 100%. Now, it's funny because I sent a message to a friend of the show, your friend at Knicks Film School, Sean Hardy. We were talking about this today. And I think something the three of us have in common, not to sidetrack this on the NBA Cup, but I think there's something that all of us have in common. We all like English Premier League football. We all watch it. You unfortunately root for a team I don't necessarily care for, and so does Sean, but y'all don't care for my team either. So that is that. But here's the thing. We all watch that, and nobody would ever say that winning the league doesn't matter the most. It does. But you love to see Chelsea win an FA Cup. It's another trophy. It doesn't matter as much as the league. I'd like to see Liverpool win one. Sean would love to see Tottenham win something. He was happy they did that last year because he hadn't seen that in quite some time. But we are never saying, we're saying there's levels to this. And you made a great point, right? The NBA Cup, we know it's nice. I like it personally. Does it help the league make some more money and pay some of their TV 100%. Providers and all that stuff? Sure. But the great point you made is that's the same reason we have playoffs in American sports. I just think people need to open their minds up a little bit that sports doesn't have to be one way, and there's many different ways to enjoy things, and there's many different things you could win. And listen, playing good and it matters. Before we move on, before we get to the naughty part, I do want to say I thought about who I would have on my naughty and nice list, and I thought the person I want to put is I put him at the nice list because I think he's the most valuable. Nick, right down. That's OG Anunoby. And I think we've seen his value, Jeff, since his return, man. He's been really good. His best two-way player. I know we didn't look good on Friday night against Philadelphia, but he bounced back nicely against the Heat. He's been a menace on defense. He's changed the game. He held the Knicks down in that first half of the game against the Spurs in the NBA Cup championship. I mean, he's been tremendous when he's on. I think there's a legit case he could be the Knicks' second All-Star. Did you have him on your nice list? Was he there for you too?
Oh, yeah. Him and Mikal Bridges were on the nice list. They're having career years, along with Deuce. They're having career years by all accounts. Like Bridges right now is looking right now like the future form that people thought that he was going to be. Suns Bridges on defense, Brooklyn Bridges on offense. He's looking like that right now. And OG Anunoby is just a transformative player, man. When he's on the court, it's just different. We watched the most recent game against the Heat. He woke up in the second half And it wasn't a coincidence that so did the Knicks. And they started trying to pull away in that game. He started hitting shots. He was more active. He got a couple of blocks in the third quarter after having another offer in the first half. He just needed to rev up. He's like a Cadillac, right, from the 80s. Just after a while, you just got to rev the engine and let it run, especially in the cold weather months. Got to let it run a little bit before it's on go. And he was on go. So, yeah, man, like I said, a lot to choose from, but them two is definitely on my list, on my nice list as well.
That's good. Hey, you know you have a good team when there's a lot of people you could choose from on the nice list. When it's not the other way, it can be bad. Now, sorry, we got to go to bad things. Naughty list. Who you got, Jeff?
Well, look, man, it pains me to say it, but
I think I know
I'm
where you're
gonna
going.
have to put a piece of charbon in the stocking of Gershon Yabusele, bro. He's just having a bad season. It's been what? 28 games. We're almost a third away into the season. He's shooting 30% from three on defense. I mean, he started to look better, but that was a low bar considering what he was doing the previous few games. He's shooting 30% from threes, letting players of all sizes and statures blow by him on defense. He didn't look like he was in shape, which was crazy considering that he was playing Eurobasket a few months prior to the season. So how you get into less shape, like that's a lot of vacation eaten between the end of Eurobasket and the beginning of training camp. You feel me? So I had high hopes for him. I wanted him on the squad last year. I wanted them to pull a trade deadline move with the Sixers last year to get him for that stretch run. And I was high on this signing because he was another big that could stretch the floor, hit threes. Majority of his shots came from either at the rim or from the three-point line. I get it that he may not be as much in rhythm because he's not getting those garbage time minutes that he was getting with the Sixers last year. But at the same time, you got to be a star in your role and you got to be ready. And the fact that Mike Brown, who's literally tried everything, ain't finding minutes for you, that's a sign, man. It's unfortunate, but I don't know if it can turn around. I don't know if he has the time to turn it around. And it's just really unfortunate that it hasn't worked out so far.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out. You brought up the point that I was going to make. Listen, he was at the top of the naughty list. I'm not even sure there's anybody else on the naughty list. Do we have another name? Jeff, do you have another name for the naughty list? Because I'm not sure I have one.
Man.
See? That's what I'm saying.
No, not really. I'm trying to think. Nah, man. Honestly, no.
I felt like this was an easy question, right? Like he's at the top of the naughty list. And what's crazy was the last part of what you just said, right? Which was he's not even getting playing time right now. We're recording this after the Miami game. He was a DMP CD. Let's just be clear. This is a Knicks. I like the signing. I was for the Yabusele signing. I thought it was a good signing. I thought the Knicks had themselves a good offseason. Sometimes things don't work out. We understand that, right?
True,
Sometimes things don't work out. But here's the thing. He was a DMP CD against the Heat. Mohamed Diawara got minutes over him. I know it's 4 minutes, but he got minutes over him. That's not a good look. It's just, but here's what I also would like to say. Even though he's at the top of the naughty list, Jeff, this is going to go back to Mike Brown. This is where you got to give Mike Brown credit. If something isn't working out, it's not working out. Sometimes something's a sunk cost, and you just got to keep it moving. And he's like, all right, I'm going to keep this moving. I'm going to get Mohamed Diawara some minutes. Maybe that bodes well for us later in the season. Who knows? You don't know. But he's been bad. There's nothing else we have to say. He's been bad.
Bro, even I had to take my cape off, bro. Even I had to take my cape off.
I want to know the point of when you said, hey, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Jeff Johnson's not going to be out here defending Yabu when he is not produced on the court.
Fam, they was about to call me and you to play in Indy after that NBA Cup. And he couldn't get run like that?
Nah, he couldn't that day.
Like they had to come back from 16 points down. And I don't even think he got 5 minutes in that game. Mohamed Diawara started.
That was telling.
They sat three bro. They sat three players. They sat three players, and he did. Yo, nah. I gotta make sure. Hold on.
No, you're right. He didn't start.
He got 11 minutes. 11 minutes in the game that they started they sat Mitch, Cat, and Hart.
And he only
and
got
there was
11
no
minutes.
Deuce. There was no Shamit.
Yep.
He only got 11 minutes.
Yep.
When they literally needed a big.
Ariel Hawkporti
Both their bigs were out.
Ariel Hawkporti had more minutes than him. Trey Jemison, I believe, had more minutes than him in that game. And Mohamed Diawara all had more minutes than him in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Bro, OG Anunoby's check engine light was coming on, and he played 33 minutes in that game. That's the nail. That was the nail. Whatever I had, and he hit a 3 in that game too, and I was like,
It was early. It was early. It was early too. I remember that. It was early in the game.
Cooked
early.
me, bro. Cooked me, bro. Unfortunately, bro, it's a wrap.
But that's where you got to give Mike Brown credit, because and again, this is not me shading the previous coach. I'm just saying to be like, hey, this is our guy. We gave him the taxpayer TMLE, mid-level exception. We're paying him $5 million a year. We got to get this. No, we don't. We don't have to do it. We don't have to do it. We don't have to do it at all. All right, naughty and nice. It wasn't really deep at all with the naughty list at all. All right, Jeff, let's do this for the third segment. The Knicks Christmas wish list is what I'm going to do. So, if the Knicks are writing their wish lists right now, what's the most realistic? I'm trying realistic. It's the key word here, people. Realistic. What's the most realistic thing that they should be asking for right now? And the reason I bring this question up is because it is trade season. So, because we want to be realistic, what I decided to do was can we try to make this into tiers, right? All right, here's the tiers. Must-have tier. So, they got to have this. Nice to have tiers. It'd be cool if they got this, but they don't really have to get this. And then the last tier I'm going to put, do not ask for, unrealistic tier. Don't get it. Somebody being hey, can we get Luka Doncic? No, Nico Harrison is not running the Lakers. That's not going to happen. So that you don't want to ask for that. But if there's something the Knicks can get that's realistic in one of those tiers, what are you going for? What should they be trying to add to their Christmas wish list?
So I think if we're going must-have and nice-to-have, for me, a must-have is to be a top 10 defense. That's a must-have to me. Because if you look at championship teams, with the exception of the recent Nuggets, you want your offense to continue to be top 3 in the league, and you want to creep to within that top 10 or be percentage points off. So right now, they're 14th in the league in defensive rating, and they're 8/10 away from top 10. If Orlando, I believe, is 114 and they're 114.8. So that's a virtual tie, right? That's a virtual tie. I think they want to get better on the defensive end, continue to play better on the perimeter, especially with 3-point shots, the opponent's 3-point shot. You want to get better there. You want to get better defending the paint. You want to hope that some of your players, and we're starting to see that now with the different defensive schemes and where they're putting different players in order to maximize their defensive prowess or at least raise their defensive ceiling. You're getting that now. So I think the must-have for them to be able to contend is to be at least a top 10 defense or percentage points away to where it's negligible. That's what you need if you're going to want to compete. Because we saw an example, once again, we just recently watched the Miami game. We saw the example of, hey, we're going to make the key plays down the stretch, and then if you're trying to go band for band with our offense, you're going to have to shake our hand and say, good game, and go about your way. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, we saw that in the game. Okay, so I like that as a must-have. And I predicted that this team could be a top 8 to 10 defense this year. That was one of my bold predictions at the beginning of the year. Maybe it's not so bold because they are really close to that at this point right now. They're right there, as you said, 0.8 of a point away. Do you have something as a nice to have that, okay, they get this player on their roster or they do this thing, this will elevate their ceiling even a little bit. What's a nice to have? Because I like that must have with the defense. What's your nice to have gift?
My nice to have is one more rotation player. And whether that's somebody,
Yabusele?
Come on, dog. That $5 million is looking like something that you're putting on eBay right now. Oh, it is a sunk cost. They already paying it, but somebody else could pay the rest of that sunk cost. That's why you use it in a trade, right? So at this point, you want to get one more player, and I think the nice to have aspect of it is the Knicks have to assess what they really need. What do they think they really need? Do you want backup insurance for Mitch and you get another backup big? Do you want another wing that can eat some minutes and really contribute. Do you believe in Kolek as a backup playmaker, or do you want to get another point guard? We've heard the rumors about Alvarado, right? I've heard Sadiq Bey. I've heard all these other people. Whatever they feel is the biggest need to fortify in order to make this postseason run, it would be nice to have that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I wonder what those moves would be, and I wonder, the big question for me is backup point guard. Do you believe in what you've recently seen from Kolek? Do you think he can hold up enough? Is he a playoff performer? Can he give you 14 to 15 minutes in the playoffs? Help you spell Brunson? He looked good recently. I feel like I need to see a little bit more. So that's it. All right, what do you have to do not ask for? Is there any unrealistic wish list thing that fans need to drop their expectations for? You can say Giannis if you want to. It's okay.
Oh, yeah, we'll say it. Say it 2 times, say it 3 times, say it 4 times. Say it for as much repetition as needed in order for it to take hold. Please stop asking for that, man. Please. It ain't happening. If it was going to happen, it's going to happen in the offseason. It's not going to happen during the season. And if you're a Knicks fan, I would ask you, why would you want it to happen now? Are you really watching these games, or are you skimming through them? Do you see the team that's forming in front of you now, that's coming together, that doesn't even have all of its people, but is evolving and learning and is developing a team identity? This team hates to lose. They're super resilient. They kill you from all 3 levels of the court on offense. They are going to innovate and experiment and iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate until they find what's the optimal rotations for them, which is why we'll find out if Kolek is the one, because he's going to get plenty of opportunities to show that he is. And if he's not, then they'll make a move. So I think if you see this team, they're 20-8, I believe. They're 20-8, second place in the East. And they haven't even started playing their best ball yet. With all the good that we've seen, they haven't played their best ball yet. And unless you want to root for the Milwaukee Bucks in orange and blue, I don't think you want Giannis on the team in the way that he would need to come here. It would be a colossal blunder on the Knicks' part if they made that trade and had to gut the team the way they would need to gut the team in order to make that move happen. It would be a criminal injustice against this fan base who is stuck by their side and has watched a decade of competence unfold in front of them. I was banging the drum for Giannis 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You ask people who know me, I had a Giannis agenda. My agenda isn't fully gone, but it's a dream deferred for now, because I couldn't imagine the team that I'm watching in front of me ball the way they're balling. So the way I'm feeling now, hey, maybe you do another year in Milwaukee, get out of your player option, and then come to the team as a free agent with all the assets.
It's possible.
If you really want to be on that team and make one more run, they'll have spots. They're not going to deplete their roster for you. You know, and it all depends on what happens this season.
That's huge.
But what I'm saying is, in season, it ain't happening.
Yeah, the likelihood of it happening in season to me was always low. But you know how this works, Jeff, as we get closer to the trade deadline and Giannis hasn't said anything definitive, it's only going to increase the talk. I kind of lean with you. I don't think they need to do this now. I'm not saying you don't revisit, depending on what happens this season. I'm not saying you don't revisit this down the road, but I don't think you need to right now. And I think the way it would have to go down in season, 1, I don't think the Knicks have enough for what the Bucks want. So that's the first part. And 2,
at all, if
you did, you would have to totally gut your team. And one thing we've learned, and you've brought up this word multiple times in this episode, depth. Depth is valuable to in the NBA, especially in the second apron era. You need that. So we'll see. All right, I like your Knicks wish list. All right, next segment. This is called the What the Knicks Need to Carry into Christmas for this section. We'll look at the core identity of the Knicks. So, Jeff, when you strip everything down and you look at this, what's the one thing this Knicks team absolutely must carry into Christmas Day and into the new year as we approach 2026 that has been working for them so far? They need to carry this through. What's that one thing for you?
I think it's the innovation, man. I think you continue to experiment. This regular season, is about developing the winning habits, figuring out how your personnel can operate under a variety of circumstances, who is best equipped to help you in certain scenarios. Who's your best starting five? Who's your best scoring five? Who's your best defensive five? What are the rotations that you need against a bigger team? What are the rotations that you need against a younger, more athletic team? When do you know when to sit some of your stars if they're ineffective? When do you know whether to give them a little bit more rope and let them play out of their funk? This is what we've been seeing throughout the course of the season. And I think they need to maintain that experimentation so that when the postseason arrives, they will be ready for everything. Because it's one thing to say that you're the most prepared team, but you don't execute every type of scenario in the regular season. You can go through the tape, you can walk through practice and know of scenarios, but on-the-job training works way better than just simulating it in the film room. Like, they have to put themselves in that position, and they also have to see themselves either succeed or fail in those positions so that they're able to adjust accordingly. So if they're able to bring that innovation and this new resilience that they have, that they can come back. It's kind of a remnants of the 23-24 Knicks that you knew they weren't going to get blown out. They were going to fight and fight and fight and be in it every game. And I was part of that reason because their main guys were going to play a majority of the game and they weren't trying to lose. Sure. But I think it's a mentality that you can permeate across the entire squad and have it take hold, have it sink in. And it goes from Jalen Brunson to the two-way players on the bench. Just refuse to lose and figure out what Knicks basketball is, which is, I think we're starting to see what it is. Low turnovers, high impact offense, clutch defense, and the ability and the versatility to beat you in a variety of ways. And they don't like to lose. Take all of that into 2026 and beyond. Make that the DNA of this squad from this point forward.
Yep, and that is the reason, not to harp back on this, but this is the reason of what we saw the coaching change. And this is what everybody questioned in the offseason. It was like, oh, well, is Mike Brown a better coach than Tibbs? Well, you're seeing the experimentation. You're seeing a coach use the regular season differently, right? And I think like a fair follow-up would have been for you, Jeff, is like, and you kind of answered this, but it's like, well, what's the risk if they don't carry all the stuff that you just said into the new year and beyond? Well, the risk is that you're not prepared for the playoffs, like you said. You're not getting, to use your term, you're not getting that on-the-job training, right? That's the risk that's there. And sometimes just having something a little bit different has really shifted this team, from where they were. It's just that everything feels different. I don't know how you feel about it, but everything feels different in a good way for this team, where you feel like they're, to use the E word here, they're really evolving, right? I know it's early. We're recording this after 28 games. I get all that. But it just feels different, the way they're going about it. And for all the folks out there, which I do think this is a silly statement, it says the regular season doesn't matter. No, it does. This is what you're supposed to use it for. This is the time to figure these things out so you can be ready for the playoffs. And for me personally, just watching it as somebody who loves basketball, I love seeing the way Mike Brown has approached this, because it gives you hope that questions can be answered, as you said. Can they find out what they have in Tyler Kolak? Can they find out that maybe Gershon Yabusele can turn things around? I wouldn't bet on that, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But you can at least trust Mike Brown is going to try to find out. So we'll see. All right. That brings us to our final segment as we wrap here. We're going to call this the holiday takeaway. So here's my question, Jeff. By the time Knicks fans, maybe yourself, opening some presents on Christmas morning, what's the biggest truth that they should understand about this team right now? What's your Knicks holiday takeaway that you have? What's the biggest truth that Knicks fans should understand about this team?
The New York Knicks are a championship contender, and it is fine to say it. You will not spontaneously combust. An anvil won't drop on your head. You won't step on a crack and break your mom's back, or whatever superstition you believe in, it will not come to pass. You have seen enough evidence, whether it's statistical, analytical, or anecdotal. You have seen the evidence. They are a contender. I'm bestowing prestige on the cup. They won a 30-team tournament, and they beat one of the most rising, up-and-coming teams in the league with a potential generational talent. And they were able to walk them down in the fourth quarter and outlast them. They don't fear anybody. And if you're a fan, neither should you, because you are starting to see the development of a final form of the team that you've been wishing for throughout the course of this process. Throughout this entire process, this is what you've been hoping for. And they still got a long way to go. And that's fine, because a lot of teams do. But for what you see right now in this moment, they are a contender. You don't need us to say it. You don't need national media to say it. It's a fact. They are a contender, and the rest of the league should be on notice.
I love it. I love it. That's a fantastic Knicks holiday takeaway. I don't have anything to add for that. It's okay. It's okay. You can say the Knicks are contenders. Jeff told you will not spontaneously
Don't be
combust.
scared.
Don't be scared. Jeff said it with his chest. You can say it too. I'll say it. The New York Knicks are contenders for the 2026 NBA championship. Who knows? They might win the 2025 NBA Cup and the 2026 NBA championship. And maybe then, Jeff, just maybe then, some people will actually, at that moment, validate the NBA Cup title. Maybe they won't.
Maybe they'll be the first team to win the double. And for those of you who aren't familiar or sophisticated in the arts of world football, that's winning a tournament, a domestic tournament in your own country, and the league tournament, the league title. So, yeah, I'm ready, man. You don't understand the agendas that are about to get off. If they are able to pull off the double.
Oh
boy, I'm telling you.
Oh, man.
Let the Knicks win the title and the NBA Cup. I bet you 2026, it's gonna be we need to win a cup. We need to do that now.
we should have never let the Knicks win the cup.
Right, exactly.
We should never let that happen.
Exactly, bro.
I could see that happening. Hey, man, listen. I think if you're a Knicks fan at this point in time of us recording this, 8 has been pretty. You should be happy at where they are this holiday season. Heading into Christmas, there's still a lot of basketball left to be played, as Jeff and I talked about. There's still a lot left to be learned about this team. You know, that we can learn, the team will learn for themselves. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Everybody, that is Jeff Johnson. Check him out with Knicks Film School. Does a great job with my guy Sean Hardy, who's hopefully not too bitter this weekend after his Tottenham Football Club fell. Check them out on Fridays. They do Casual Fridays on Knicks Film School. Fantastic. Please check the both of them out there. Jeff, I got to always appreciate you coming through on New York Got Game. I wish happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff to you and your family. Be well, enjoy the holidays, and hopefully the Knicks on Christmas also give the fans a good gift with a win over the Cavs. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm like, damn, should I hope for the Cavs win at Christmas? Because they've been going through. Like, what is going on? You want to talk about embarrassing me? I've been talking about, yo, watch out for the Cavs, watch out for the Cavs. Every time I turn around, they losing. I'm like, what's going on? So that might be a must-win for them in December. That game might be a must-win for them.
Hey.
Because I remember the narratives last year about the Knicks were 0 whatever against the top 3 teams in the East or in the league, or the top 4 teams in the league. Woo! They don't win that game on Christmas. Yeah, it's going to get really dark early. It's going to get late early for them.
Well, hey, you don't have to be stressed this Christmas with those kind of problems. You know, you don't have to deal with those kind of problems, man. You could have a nice, relaxing Christmas, and it'll be better if the Knicks add a win. That's
It'll be a Merry Knicksmas, I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully it is a Merry Knicksmas. Want to wish all the fans out there a Merry Knicksmas as well, too. That is Jeff Johnson. As I said, check him out on Knicks Film School. I'm Dexter Henry. We'll catch you next time on another edition of New York Got Game.
And thanks for watching New York Got Game. Boom shakalaka.